Hi, Teach Jim here. I teach and I learn. And isn't this what we really want to have happen for both ourselves and for our children? That they would grow from dependence to independence. And that somewhere along the line in life, that they would gain the skills necessary for that to happen. So why don't more of us get there? Why aren't more of us independent? Well, let's take a look at this idea of dependence. Maybe we're overwhelmed because of the amount of information that's before us as we try to come online to gain our independence. We want to get away from the rat race on the other side of the world, so we come online hoping to establish a business for ourselves, but overwhelmed is what we often find. Or maybe instead of overwhelmed, we're limited by our formal education. You and I both were taught in classrooms that taught us to learn from an all-knowing adult. And hence, when we go online, we try to learn, we go to a single person, maybe a guru, or we sign up for a course, or we go offline and we take courses there that feed us more information than we need to really be successful online. So maybe it's formal education that's in our way. Maybe it's our upbringing, the fact that we were taught to work in a physical world and now we're trying to work in a virtual world. It's so much different in the kinds of work that we'll do. Maybe it has more something to do with the habits that we have. Maybe our work habits are such that we're used to working for somebody else. They tell us what to do, and we do what they tell us. But when you go online, all of a sudden it's you, and just you, and the computer working alone. Well, maybe you need to learn some new habits. Well, how do you do that? Well, that's what we're hoping to answer for you today. Are you afraid? Are you afraid of maybe the unknown, the fact that nobody knows what they're doing out here, or that you're hearing so much noise from different places it's a challenge for you? These are some of the issues that I know I faced when I came online, and I had been experienced as a webmaster for 12 years. My goodness, if I'm having troubles with some of these same kinds of things, we've got to somehow grow past dependence and move to independence. And I'm going to propose to you today a way that that can happen. Now, my marketing friends tell me I'm telling you way too much information and you might be blown away, but I'm going to take that risk because I think it's important for you to make an educated decision whether you'd want to join with us in this opportunity that we're proposing that will move us towards independence. So first off, we enter in and we need to learn some things. We need to unlearn some bad habits. We need to learn how to learn on our own so that we aren't directed by the formal education we had in school, but that we're self-directed in our learning. So learning becomes the first stage of this growth pattern. The next thing that happens is we then teach. Now, why do we teach? Because when you teach, you learn. Isn't it the teacher that learns more than the student? Well, doesn't it make sense that if you're going to learn to be an effective expert online, that you would teach others what you do know, and then in that teaching, clarify what it is you don't know and get better at it? So you teach. So you learn, then you teach, and then you create. You notice most of the people online aren't just selling products of somebody else's, they're selling their own products, and hence you and I will need to become creators if we're going to become independent business owners online. And finally, with that creation becomes the freedom to run and leverage ourselves into our own business, which moves us to independence. So we're independent because of the path that we'll pursue. Now, how do we get there? That's why I'm going to try to keep it simple for you, but also understand I'm not going to hold back much. I'm going to try to paint the picture what it's really going to take. So if it's freedom we want, if it's independence we want, then we're going to need to make some steps. We're going to need to learn, teach, and then create freedom. So that's the path we're going to pursue. So the first step, of course, is to learn independence. And that means the skills that people who are involved in independence are involved in and engaged in themselves. Well, what do those look like? Well, first off, they're going to prepare. You're going to prepare. We're going to prepare together in a learning adventure that becomes a profitable business for us. So prepare is where we start. And then we're going to produce. Once we're prepared with the right kinds of framework for ourselves, then we can produce products. And then we can sell those products and or services for a profit. So let's see what that looks like. Prepare. Well, in preparation, one of the first things that we find is that people don't have established for themselves what I call the personal productivity patterns or personal performance patterns, personal performance patterns. These take place I do this on a weekly basis. I get my mission and vision in mind. And then I look at the mistakes and the maintenance I need to do, the mistakes I've made, and then put into place a movement. Which direction do I need to go? What's the next thing I need to take on in terms of personal development and the direction I'm moving? This foundation on a week-by-week basis is essential for the larger picture of growth that I'll be involved in and that you'll be involved in. So we encourage you to put together a personal performance pattern on a weekly basis, certain kinds of things that happen weekly, certain kinds of things that happen daily. And then from there, we move over to a weekly process that we support you with. This is a collaborative effort that we have going on here. Multiple people will be working together in a weekly process. We come up with a challenge that we issue to the group, and some are going to be challenged by that, and others won't. Others it will be more applicable for, but we kind of leave that flexibility for your implementation to yourself. At the same time, with the challenges there's a basis of understanding and knowledge that comes together. We then go through the challenge of facing the challenge and dealing with it. We as an individual work by ourselves. We call upon the World Wide Web and the resources that are available there. We have set up for us an accountability partner that we work with, as well as we have an entire learning community that helps us in the progress along our personal steps while we learn better how to market online. And moreover, we learn how to produce a product that we can sell online. So there we are, facing the challenge and moving forward. And what does that do for us? That gets us prepared. Once we're prepared, then we can go to the next step where we actually be involved in this kind of the next step. This is a personal performance patterns where we can perform personally, but we report publicly that we have certain goals. We report to a live person. We report to a private checklist that we keep for ourselves to maintain ourselves moving forward in this accountability. Well, where we work it, we put together a group of workout partners, 2 partners working together, and then we cycle through and we change partners on a regular basis. This expands our experience with other people, allowing us to work with others. Also, it gives us different perspectives on where we sit. They give us feedback, we give them feedback, and in that interaction, we are better prepared for creating the type of products and services that will be marketable for us online. That right there, tied with project management. The idea of having a project online that we're working with becomes huge. And as we go through each of the steps in the project management process of gaining the idea, envisioning what that's going to look like, speculating how many people are going to be with us, what the team's going to look like, exploring the possibilities as we produce, and then adopting those things that matter most, and so we can bring the project to closure. These are the steps of project management that we teach and that we work on together while we're producing our products in parallel or together. Told you this is not so super simple, but at the same time it really is, because all you're doing here is producing your product. And the steps in that production process are what we teach through project management. So we're prepared, we produce, and then we profit. And how do you gain your profit? Well, you put together your marketing plan. That's a starting place. A marketing plan which has a purpose and the people identified, the pains that they have, the promotion you're going to do, the proposal you have for them, and then how you're going to promote that. Marketing plan first in place. And from a marketing plan, of course, you're going to then put together the marketing funnel. The marketing funnel is going to include such things as the sales page, the capture page, landing pages, all this stuff. Don't worry about the details here. The bottom line is we help you and we work together on putting this funnel together. So the next step is, with the funnel in place, so we can drive traffic from various sources into our business. And each of those sources become a person or people that we can work with to help produce the profits that we desire. And we can add to their lives through the value that we provide through the product we prepared. Finally, we put together the shopping cart, the whole way to monetize, and of course then follow up and building and maintaining the relationship with our list of customers that we've brought through the system. All important steps that lead us to the profits that we desire. This process then of prepare, produce, and profit, we then leverage into the next time. Now, that first steps that we went through were about 9 to 12 weeks. During that time, we gain a certain level of skill. And then we move to the next cycle through. Remember, we're looking for a community of learners which are going to support each other in growing from dependent to independent. So here now is where we jump into the teaching mode. If you're going through for the second time, you're now helping to teach people that are coming through for the first time. And you will also prepare, just like you did earlier. And you'll produce, and you'll profit. And the way we pull this off, we expand then the level and the way that we're working with our weekly method of operation. We add in for me sessions. That's that weekly planning piece that we talked about last time. Then we add in maintenance activities. We add in personal performance patterns that we mentioned at the beginning. We expand those into daily operations, weekly work sessions, and the work sessions are blocks of time which are highly focused and highly energized, which allow you to get the productivity you need even though your time is limited. So this is the direction we move towards. And then we jump back into that weekly process where we're all working together. And working together, we get to enjoy fully, just as you would hope, this weekly process of challenge, overcoming the challenge, learning community, resources, accountability partner, and again, that learning community supporting us, reporting to the group through some collaborative tools that we have online that we work with. Again, this process continues. We then produce using project management skills again, as well as the actual steps of creating a product. We then leverage that into the platform and the performance where we get the profit again. And then we jump into it again. We're going to create our independence now. And how do we create? You got it. We go through prepare, produce, and profit. And we do it similar that we did before, but we expand upon our personal performance patterns. Maybe we're now strong enough, we're able to do more effective exercises. Maybe we know there's certain things that we want to do to increase our productivity. We now apply those in our lives. And then, of course, we go back to the weekly process. We still have built in this learning community, which now we're dealing with that are friends, that are people that we're really well associated with. And they're helping us in very, very exact ways. We're each starting to specialize depending on our areas of interest, as well as our talents, to help us in our progress toward becoming effective marketers, producers, profits, all coming in because of this collaborative effort together. You start to see where this takes us. So we prepare, we produce, and again, now maybe we expand out our writing process. Maybe we're good writers, and so we expand in that. Maybe you're a video producer, and so you're going to produce in the video arena and get really, really good at that. Maybe you're a musician and want to add the music to each of these areas. Maybe you're a great writer, but you want to write scripts and help people to put together the video and the whole creative process and the screenplays. Or there's so many ways we can package our message. And that message that comes from you as a sincere person gets pushed out there. And those are where we gain our profits from. So this is not meant to blow you away. It's meant instead to help you understand that there's a progressive path. Notice this is the third time through. You're now 6 months into this deal. Do you think this could help you? Do you think it would be a great resource for you to have others working with you in this kind of a process? I think it is. Now we expand our project management. And the detail that we're working with project management, we're also getting more experience. We've been through several projects. We've had some people drop out of our teams. We've had people overperform and get burned out. We've had these experiences. We've had technologies break. Each of these add to the value that each person contributes into the team. Do you see where once you have this foundation set of skills laid with personal productivity, with project management, and the ability to learn your way through the problems that you face, all of a sudden now you're very productive and helpful. You're able to contribute to the good of everybody. You can produce more effectively. And then, of course, you're now ready to collaborate in huge ways. You're able to sell one another's products. You're able to produce each other's products together. You're able to build each other's lists. You're able to also promote each other's stuff across multiple mediums. Can you see where the collaboration in this kind of a process is going to expand not only in the production process, but also in the marketing process, let alone the growth and development process? This is huge. You see where this is the kind of just off the shelf course that you get thrown through. This is an interactive process where we're learning together to profit together, to produce together. And so it's this freedom and independence that we're growing towards. Once we're here, we're equal partners. We're negotiating on various size deals. We're able to find markets and niches that we're both in agreement with. These are teams of people working on projects. The projects might last 6 months. They might be fairly complicated. This is more of a mastermind, if that's what you want to have it be, because the mastermind has a set of skills they bring to the table, but they also bring experience that they've had through multiple projects and multiple successes and some failures along the way. This is the learning environment that we're talking about. Profitable producers, each working together as they have learned through personal performance patterns. That's what the PPP stands for here, personal performance patterns. Patterns of weekly methods of operations, daily methods of operations, accountability, and stories that they're able to share from their successes. Also, they're able to, the PMS here isn't something else. This stands for project management skills. They understand how to take ideas and envision, speculate, explore, adopt, and close those and produce them in ways that work. Then they're able to go about this idea of self-directed learning, taking their self, directing their own learning, and advancing through the problems and situations that arise. That they can learn in ways the same way that the masters learn, the same way the leaders learn. They do investigations, they conduct research, they use effective learning strategies, such things as chunking and pruning and sequencing and leveraging and leaning and learning, and all these pieces fit together. Mind mapping becomes huge, and all these skills and strategies are packaged into this promotional piece that allows you and I to develop these skills past what we learned in the past. What we learned previously. This CCC stands for cooperative creations, where we're actually doing the production work. We know how to come together with agreements. Each of these visuals you've seen in the screen are all done through tools that could be used collaboratively. Each of these things that you're seeing here, even this presentation, could have been built by multiple people at the same time. We have huge collaborative tools that we aren't leveraging because we don't know how to. In this program and in this process, you learn how to do these things. Finally, the whole package includes the introduction, the process itself, the products that you create, as well as the materials and the resources that help us to leverage that production. All of these come together in conclusion. So we cycle through this process of becoming productive and profitable producers. That's the goal here. So when we're done with this, where does it take us? It takes us to independence. We can stand on our own 2 feet because we've learned how to leverage the learning of others and our own learning into a system that works for us and for others. So what does that mean? Well, we're independent, and that independence came because of this process, a collaborative creation, where we set ourselves up online. We made sure that the way we work and the things that we're doing prepare us for the future. They prepare us for the next step of production. And so once we are prepared, then we produce. We recognize our own significance as individuals, as well as teams, as well as partners. And that significance then we leverage into our own products. We produce in collaboration together on each other's products, parallel working, or working together on a single product, multiple of us working together on a single product. Either one of those works fine. In fact, if you're looking at producing a product in the next 90 days, this is the program for you, because we'll help you in producing your product during those 90 days. You don't have to work alone anymore. You can work in this collaborative environment, this learning community where we're all learning together. And in learning together, we're also profiting together. And that's the next step. Putting together the marketing map, putting together our marketing funnel, bringing the right people into that funnel, and then the marketing process, getting the dollars and cents out of it, where we can either share in the profits or we negotiate the kinds of profit sharing situations that can exist as we go forward. All this in what I call a collaborative creation. We coordinate, we cooperate, and we create so that we have finished products, leaving us independent through this prepare, produce, and profit process. And we cycle through it multiple times if it works for us. If it doesn't work for us, you don't have to cycle through with us. It's okay. The learning community will continue to grow and develop and support one another as we continue to advance in our skills together. So what's this mean for you? Well, you're going to learn, you're going to teach, you're going to create, and you're going to experience the freedoms that you desire. And how's that going to happen? Because you're going to go from dependence, depend on your formal education, dependent upon others, depending on courses, to independence while you learn independence through collaborating with others, leveraging their learning, they're leveraging your learning, and working together. This growth process then becomes something huge. In fact, you may not have realized it, but what we're talking about here is really nothing more than moving from employee or self-employed person to becoming an independent business owner with the freedoms that you desire. There's a business that can run on its own that you want to work through. So that's our hopes for you, that you would join us in becoming a profitable producer through this collaborative creative process and this establishment of a learning community where we can learn together and master the skills that are required. And so what I'd ask of you right now is to begin the application process. Fill out the form, get yourself on the list. With yourself on the list, we'll follow up with an email that will tell you how to fill out and get started with an application form. The application form then will move you to the next step. I hope that you'll qualify as one of the applicants. Please take a moment and fill out the form, get on the list so we can add you in and see if you qualify for working with us. This system won't be for everybody. I can tell you that because it's an in-depth, long-term solution with long-term profit potential. But it's not a short-term quick answer. It's not going to give you dollars this week. And as a result of that, it may not be for you. But if you're the kind of business person who's been online long enough to know that long-term profits take real effort, you'll want to join us because we can help each other in this profitable producers scenario. Look forward to having you with us. Please fill out the form.